Yo, what's poppin' everybody? It's your boy Modern Fiction here, back at it again with another video. One Piece Chapter 1023 review. I know it's been a minute since I put out content, but to quote BDA Law, mans are back like we never left. So piggybacking off the end of last chapter, which literally gave me goosebumps, this chapter was insane. 1023 gave us a lot of exposition, information, plot advancement, and holy, the end. I got way too excited when I saw that panel. There's a lot to discuss though, so let's unravel it. This chapter was Oda at his best. One Piece chapters are usually focused between battle-centric or info dumps, especially in the rising action of an arc building towards its climax. But in this case, Oda blended the two very well. We got great action and information. It felt like an overload compared to some of the previous chapters' pacing. We got so much in this chapter, I don't even know where to start. I gotta talk about Zoro, Momo, Sanji, Queen, the Dukes. Even the GOAT himself made another appearance a decade, over 500 chapters after his death, in a flashback on screen in real time, but I'll get into that later. I'm gonna start off with the only thing I got spoiled for. That's the One Piece Twitter community for you, which was Sanji saying his body feels off and he's not used to the raid suit yet. This could be due to the nature of his physique being an anomaly, which Queen touches upon, as his dialogue alludes to the possibility that Judge altered him with the Lunarian race's DNA. Well, at least we can infer that as the reader, as he has the same ability to conjure fire, which Queen notes isn't possible for a regular human, which is jokes cause Sanji just shrugs that off as his passion. Sanji thinks he's completely human and not altered at all because he has emotions unlike his siblings, which may be true, but we'll have to see further down the line, because with this implication there could or should be more to it obviously. This could be a big development in the future as we finally got King's race's name dropped. We even get another Oyaji flashback through Marco, who's reminiscing on good old times in the midst of battle. But it did provide key exposition as he was literally at the pinnacle of the verse along with Roger, so they pretty much know everything there is to know. In the flashback, Marco states he thought Mrija was the only thing above the red line, but then Whitebeard states, I'm talking about the distant past. Back then, it was God's land. This isn't directly referring to King, but the fact that we get that info dump panels later, we can make the inference. The fact that King has wings too, in my estimation, he's definitely from a sky island, maybe even the moon. Both eligible candidates as both land masses are above the red line. And his race's name literally has lunar in it, which directly relates and correlates to and with the moon. And the lunar eclipse is literally the blocking of the moon through the Earth's shadow. This, along with a potential solar eclipse, could tie into the moons being relevant in Endgame, and of course, the ushering in of the dawn of the new world. But yeah, moving on, Queen's being cocky as usual, saying he has superior technology, even name-dropping Vegapunk, which is jokes cause Oda reiterates that Vegapunk is the standard as the #1 scientist on the planet, as Caesar, Judge, and now Queen have all compared themselves to him and are envy of his prowess, even though they all have a connection through Mats as well. Well, at least 3 out of the 4 of them verified for sure. Now getting into the meat of the chapter, the plot thickens on Zoro's backstory. We finally get another info dump. Personally, I'm ecstatic, but I feel like even the community as a whole has been waiting for this for a long time. So of course, this is relating to the Shimotsuki line, more recently the former daimyo of Ringo, but also the legend himself, Ryuma, as well. Ushimaru could easily be Zoro's father, given that they look similar and now are even stated to have similar swordplay, therefore making Zoro a descendant of Ryuma, the sword god, as well, which Oda's also added another similarity between them in the canon lore now, being that they were both one-eyed. It's kind of funny because people have been waiting for an explanation or at least some details on Zoro's eyes since the start of the time skip over a decade ago, but of course patience is a virtue, especially when it comes to One Piece. This just reaffirms Zoro's resemblance to Shimotsuki Ushimaru and Ryuma in his prime. This would also tie in perfectly narratively, as Zoro met and battled with Onimaru, his father's most trusted and loyal companion, if this was to be true. And it would also tie back to his roots in Shimotsuki village, where it all started for him, as Shimotsuki Kozuboro founded that village and is his sensei Koshiro's father and his rival Kuina's grandfather. So if Zoro is also from the Shimotsuki clan and came from Wano to the East Blue on that ship 20 years ago, which Oda stated in the SBS, it would just further their bond and connection as well. Now getting to the end of the chapter, you just love to see it, man. I did call this happening like a fair amount of others in the community theorized. Shinobu using her rot fruit to age Momo to his true age and therefore prime, 28 years old. And not to get too deep into power scaling in this video, but as I stated before, I firmly believe that a current adult Momo is definitively commander level plus, just with Kaido's devil fruit or a bootleg version of it at the very least, and Odin's sword, Ami no Habakiri, which we saw him training with for a bit in preparation for the raid. This new Momo should be a beast. At the very least, he'll definitely be an asset for Luffy and the Alliance in the upcoming climax of the battle. Whether that means directly confronting Kaido, Orochi, or holding up Onigashima with his flame clouds, we'll have to wait and see. We got a tease on his base form reveal too, cause Shinobu was tripping, shedding tears cause he obviously looks like her old lord, the goat himself, Kozuki Odin. So that's gonna be a mod reveal too, holy. Momo finally has that confidence and swagger that he was looking for. Now that he's in his prime, unless Bonnie or someone switches him back, which technically could be character regression growth-wise, it seems like Momo will most likely stay in Wano and become Shogun like all the Kozuki retainers want him to be and have stated multiple times. So with this chapter, his chances of joining the Straw Hat crew as a cabin boy have dropped exponentially, but with Oda you never know, he could still join the crew as a regular member as did Odin with the Roger Pirates, or he could do something else completely left field that we're not even thinking about. And yeah, we finally get to see Sulong, Inuarashi, and Nekomamushi again, but this time approaching the climax of their respective fights as they gain the advantage. Inuarashi had some insightful dialogue further conveying the Kozuki retainers' mental fortitude and their loyalty to Odin. And then the panel with Nekomamushi saying pour up a drink and watch Pedro hit hard, man. Because what Cat Viper was saying is facts. Pedro's sacrifice is part of what allowed the Straw Hats to even reach Wano and therefore participate in the raid on time by escaping Whole Cake Island. Man was truly pivotal in ushering in the dawn to the new world, achieving his dream as it was his turn, to quote Roger. Sulong Neko should wash Perispero, given that he's already bloodlusted and was ragdolling him around. Whereas hopefully Inuarashi finishes off Jack as he tossed him and now has him in a position to go to work. But that's going to be a more difficult fight, especially with Jack's regen and durability. This guy's still standing, holy. But I think he's finally about to be out for the count, as the Dukes are relative to him in base form, so they should be able to go to work on him in Sulong form, as they did already. I also really liked how right before we got the Momo age reveal, we got Raizo talking about Momo's development and how we have to give him time to mature, because it's a great contrast. It's been 20 years for everyone except for those select few who skip forward in time. And now as the heir to the Kozuki clan and the Shogun of Wano, he's finally about to meet people's expectations and has caught up, at least from a physical standpoint. And it was sick to see Luffy amped too. I saw some doubters say that Luffy wouldn't condone this, it's technically cheating in the easy route. But what people sometimes forget about Luffy's character is he respects you as long as you have that mental fortitude and willpower, more so than your physical traits or abilities. We've seen that time and time again throughout the series, that he's willing to help people who want to fight oppression, even if they're weak. So in this case, as long as Momo has the courage to fight, he respects that and is willing to fight alongside him, even though he got a power up physically. This is similar to like Nightmare Luffy, that wasn't his own power, but when there's a will, there's a way, and it's an ends to a mean, right? But yeah, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, comment if you rated it. If you enjoyed One Piece Chapter 1023, Modern Fiction, out.